Let's create a little bit of atmosphere before we do this shot. Okay, have you ever looked at a studio setup, looked at all of the lights and wondered what each one of them does? And have you ever wondered why you can't achieve better portraits because your camera isn't good enough? In this instance, we're going to take this Canon EOS 400D DSLR, currently available from second-hand shops online for around about £50, and we're going to take amazing images that look just like this. Go. There you go. Let's find out how it was made. Okay, so just the one image from this seminar, and it's this image here of Zoe looking amazing, and it was all shot on this Canon 400D with a kit lens as well. Photography, as I've said in the past, is all about the art of drawing with light, and this is a little bit of a complicated setup, so I'm just going to break it down for you to explain exactly what each and every light is doing in this setup one at a time. We're going to start off, Zoe's going to show it off here, the key light. The key light is the first light up here. It's up on an Elinchrom 3. If we come over here, have a look at it here. Key light on a bayonet arm over the top with a beauty dish. We're using the beauty dish because I want to control the light going across the face. Key light or main light is what this is known as, and this is the main light in the image that is illuminating the subject, the model, or the person we are taking the portrait of. So in this instance, it's 45 degrees up, 45 degrees down, and 45 degrees angling onto Zoe's face. And when she actually does the pose, which she's going to do for you now, the pose that we just shot on this with the one shot, do the pose again, she's looking straight up into that light. And because the eyes and the nose and everything is looking on that angle up and into the light, we know that we're going to get good quality light coming down across the face. Camera settings for this are ISO 100, f8, 1/160th of a second. So I metered this to f8. And if we were to just turn off every other light, which I'll do super quickly now, we should see that when we take this portrait of Zoe, it should be a super low-key image with her looking straight up into the lens. No color in this at all. 3, 2, 1, go. There we go, a little bit of spill onto the background so we can see a little bit of the green, but ultimately for a one light setup, that's a really, really achievable shot. And again, the shot you're seeing now was shot on this Canon 400D. The next light we're going to look at is our background light. That's this one over here. Come over here, come see me. We've got a background light over here, and the role of this is to, surprise, surprise Zoe, give us some light on the background. The background we've chosen here is a green Colorama background, so this light is going to shine light on the background here and slowly disperse as it goes wider here, eventually into dark, which will create an almost vignette effect in the image. So we bring up the final image here, you'll see that vignetting on the edge of the image. By that I mean an area of the image that's going slightly darker around the corners, around the edges. That is being achieved by us using this background light. If we make it brighter, we'll make the green even brighter, and we'll maybe even lose the vignetting almost altogether. If we go super, super bright and even widen up the aperture as much as possible, it will go almost white, almost completely overexposed. So we need to make sure that that is in balance to our main light and they're working in unison together. The next light we're working with is this one up here. Yep, the Elinchrom 1 here, and this is on a panoramic softbox. And this panoramic softbox, and the reason why we're using a panoramic softbox is I exhibit that I can't put on lights the right way up, as usual. The benefit of this panoramic softbox is that it's going to give us a nice strip of light that's going to go quite sort of high to low. It's not going to have like a small center. It's going to disperse quite evenly across Zoe. So when we look at her, this is going to be a separation light between Zoe and the background. So there'll actually be two separations between Zoe. There's the separation of the background light itself, giving us a little bit of that vignetting and then a little bit of that highlighting just behind Zoe. And the benefit of that background light as well, if we take the angle here, you'll be able to see, if we come from the side here with the camera angle, we can see where the light is, but the minute we move around to where the position of me as the photographer was going to be, it's disappeared. And that's the benefit of having lights behind. We can use lights behind that are actively improving the portrait that won't be in the shot. So it is possible to put lights within the studio that won't be in shot. It's the other benefit here of using the bayonet arm over the top here for this main light. The reason why we use the bayonet is so that I can have the stand all the way over to the side so that I've got a nice clean space here to shoot with Zoe. But back to the separation light. What we've done with the separation light is that we've added a blue gel in here with just some simple gaffer tape. There's only an LED light in there so it won't get too hot, and that is just going to be working on an almost analogous color scheme, working with the greens in the background and the neutral colors that Zoe's wearing there to give us a slight little bit of color harmony and color balance to give us this nice cool image. But because the background and the separation light are going to be cool, Zoe's skin tones comparatively are going to be warmer. So when we get the eventual finished image through, Zoe's skin tones are going to look warm, she's going to look healthy, and she's going to really stand out against, you look healthy all the time. Just be careful. Obviously be careful with the language you use around people in 2025. So that separation light there is going to work, and because we're working with those cooler tones, we're working in balance with the warmer tones of the skin that naturally occur. On this side here, we have a white board. This whiteboard here is bouncing light back in from our key light. The key light, the beauty dish, is going to be a super directional source of light, and it's not going to disperse a lot of light. It's not going to give us a lot of soft light. It's comparatively quite a hard light source. But if it travels all the way over here to my whiteboard, this whiteboard is going to bounce light back into Zoe, which on the side of the cheek here on the right hand side, which would be quite dark, and the side of the arm which would be quite dark, or the side of the dress that would be quite dark otherwise, now has a little bit of fill light bounced back in. It's easier to use a board than it is to set up a second light and adjust settings and make sure all the electrics work. We're using analog effects to make this image sing. The last light we're using is over here. It's another Elinchrom 3 with this time with a blue light in it, exactly the same as the one on this side, both working in balance together to give us two separation lights either side. And we've just hidden it just behind this whiteboard here, so we can't see it in shot, but this whiteboard isn't blocking the light. Crucially, anything that's coming off this side of the board here is going to expose into the picture. So if Zoe stood here, she's absolutely fine, and that light is going to come in there. These lights here have been turned slightly more towards flat, or 90 degrees, if that makes sense. So rather than being pointed this way into the camera, they're more pointed this way round towards the background, just to give a little bit more light on the background and kill that vignette just a little bit so that it's not too heavy in the frame. Once we're in the pose, we practice the pose a couple of times, and we can do that by mirroring, but Zoe's a professional. She'll show you how she was going to pose on this one. So 3, 2, 1, go. Perfect. We've created angle, shape, form. We've given our model something to do with her hands, so that we're not stood there not really knowing what to do with the hands. And we've given her a clear direction as to where I want her to look, which is just past this beauty dish. I'm not going to get her to look straight at the beauty dish and blind her, as I did in a session previously. We're going to get her to just look just beyond this beauty dish here, so that she has a point of interest to look at, and so that we can anticipate where this shot's going to go. The final sizzle on the steak is that we take a slightly lower angle when we took the shot. We came down nice and low. We had all the camera settings already dialed into the camera, and the point of focus. I chose a one-shot point of focus for this one, so that I was pre-focused. And we're working, like I say, roughly at f8, so there's a decent amount of depth of field in there. She's not moving forwards or back in this motion. Show us the motion again. 3, 2, 1, go. She's moving sideways towards that motion. If anything, it's just a slight turn of the head to the side. So if I'm pre-focused and I maintain my position, everything should stay in focus. And because if we do the motion again, 3, 2, 1, go, if we shoot her at the top of the range of the moment there is no movement at all. So at 160th of a second, we should be able to freeze the action, even though it's in movement. But by giving Zoe the movement to do, the pose and the motion looks and feels natural in the image. And we can come down and rinse and repeat. No changes to any of these settings. We're just going to go for it one more time. 3, 2, 1, go. Beautiful. Nice and simple there. The background light working well to highlight Zoe away from the background, the color tonality working through with the neutral tones in our model, giving us that slightly elevated approach. And all of this was shot, albeit with 4 lights, some of them new, but some of them nearly 15 years old, that are still all syncing and working together, all on a camera that costs less than £50. Is it all the gear, Zoe?
No.
It's the correct answer. It's very good. Well done. Don't be afraid of, like, you know, old gear or getting out. What point am I trying to make here, Ken? You shouldn't be hampered by gear, and you shouldn't ever feel that you can't achieve great portraits and great photography work just because you don't have the latest camera. It's great to get the latest camera, it's great to invest in it. My advice would always be invest in the lenses first, invest in the bodies second. So there are still lenses that in this studio I've owned for 15 plus years that I still use to this day. Glass holds its value better than the bodies. Sometimes it's cool to get a new body and to try out all the new features and eye detection for animals, and then eye detection for different types of animals, and then left eye detection and right eye detection. But ultimately I was using this camera for weddings almost 15 years ago. It was my main camera on weddings, and we've broken it out today to prove that it still shoots on RAW, it still captures light, and photography is still the art of drawing with light, and portrait photography is the art of drawing with light and working with people. Thanks very much for watching today. Zoe's going to tell you where you can go next to get more information.
Oh, I was just waiting where to go.
Oh, you can just say, do your normal bit if you want.
There you go. Yeah,
No?
no. And you can't subscribe and you can't comment on anything.
Can't subscribe, you can't, no one's allowed to comment on this video. Zoe forbids it, okay? So whatever you do, don't put any comments below. Certainly don't like it, and definitely don't tell all your photographer friends about it. And don't go through our back catalogue and have a look at all the free tutorials that are on our YouTube channel. And don't hit the bell to get notified every time we go live or every time we drop a new video. Don't do any of that. Don't visit No Fuss Must, download your free posing guide. Don't do that, and don't download any of my 1 or 2 or 3 lighting tutorials. Thank you very much for watching, obey the rules, and as ever, all the very best.